Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. There's a lot to unpack here. The AFC North has been one of the most competitive divisions in recent years, and right now, there's a lot of talk about a potential shift that could really change the landscape. The Cleveland Browns, as we all know, have been building something special over the past few seasons, and with recent developments, it looks like they might be on the verge of something even bigger. But before we dive into the latest, let's set the stage a bit. Cleveland has always been a franchise with a passionate fan base, a team that's seen its share of ups and downs, but never lost its fighting spirit. Now, with the current roster, coaching staff, and some key strategic moves, they're looking to take that next step towards Super Bowl contention. And speaking of big moves, there's been a lot of buzz lately about the division and how certain players and personalities are influencing the narrative. One of the most talked about figures recently was Michael Irvin, a legendary NFL analyst who didn't hold back when discussing some of the younger talents in the league, particularly Shedeur Sanders. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This might seem tangential, but trust me, there's a bigger picture here. Irvin's comments have sparked a lot of debate, not just about Shedeur Sanders, but about the perception of emerging quarterbacks and how media narratives shape the way we see these players. Irvin was critical of Sanders' performance and his critics, suggesting that the young quarterback might be overhyped, or that he's not yet proven enough to warrant the attention he's been getting. This kind of talk, especially coming from a figure like Irvin, really stirs the pot. It makes us think about the broader context, how players are evaluated, how fan bases react, and how division rivals might use these narratives to their advantage or to motivate their teams. For Browns fans, this is particularly interesting because we've seen in recent seasons how quarterback play can make or break a team's Super Bowl chances. Whether it's Deshaun Watson leading the offense or the rising talents around him, the quarterback position remains the most critical. Now, let's talk about Deshaun Watson, because he's a central figure in Cleveland's current quest. Watson, who's been through quite a journey over the last couple of seasons, is now fully back and looking sharper than ever. His leadership, athleticism, and ability to make plays under pressure are what the Browns are counting on to push them over the edge. Over the past few games, Watson has shown flashes of that elite level we saw in Houston, and if he can sustain that form, the Browns could be dangerous come playoff time. But it's not just Watson. The Browns' roster is deep, and the team has been making strategic moves to bolster its chances. The coaching staff, led by Kevin Stefanski, has been focusing on improving the offensive line and sharpening the attack to maximize Watson's talents. The offensive line, in particular, has been a point of emphasis, protecting Watson and giving him the time he needs to make decisions downfield. The Browns' receivers have been developing chemistry, and while they may not have the big-name stars of other teams, their collective effort and execution are what matter most for their current success. And let's not forget about the defense. Cleveland's defense has been a key part of their recent success. Players like Myles Garrett continue to be disruptive forces on the edge, creating pressure and turnovers that often swing games in the Browns' favor. The secondary has also been stepping up, with some young players gaining valuable experience and becoming more consistent. This balanced approach, a solid defense combined with a dynamic offense led by Watson, is precisely what makes Cleveland a formidable opponent. Now, coming back to the division, the AFC North has historically been a battleground, with teams like the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals all vying for supremacy. Right now, the Bengals have been struggling with consistency, and the Steelers are in a bit of a rebuild phase, but the Ravens remain a tough opponent, especially with Lamar Jackson's mobility and the team's strong defense. Yet Cleveland seems poised to make a real push, especially if Watson can continue his upward trajectory and if the team's defense maintains its high level of play. This recent controversy involving Michael Irvin and Shedeur Sanders adds an interesting layer to the narrative. It's classic NFL media drama, debates about talent, hype, and the weight of critics' opinions. But for Browns fans, the takeaway is that the league is buzzing, and the spotlight is on young quarterbacks and how they're perceived. It's a reminder that every game, every play, can shift perceptions and momentum. And with Watson back to full strength, Cleveland is hoping to not only compete but to dominate the division and make a deep playoff run. Looking at the bigger picture, the Browns have been on an upward trajectory. They've invested heavily in their roster, and their recent draft picks and trades have been aimed at building a team that can contend for the Super Bowl. The fan base is energized, and the city is buzzing with excitement. Every game feels like a step closer to that ultimate goal, lifting the Lombardi Trophy. And with the AFC North as competitive as ever, every win counts, especially against divisional rivals. Throughout this season, Deshaun Watson has been showing resilience and growth. His stats in recent games have been promising, completing passes at a high percentage, making smart decisions, and most importantly, leading the offense with confidence. The Browns' offensive line has done a great job in protecting him, which has translated into more explosive plays and scoring drives. The receivers, although not household names yet, have made clutch catches and gained valuable yards after the catch, helping Watson extend plays and keep drives alive. On defense, Myles Garrett continues to be a game-changer. His pass-rushing ability forces opponents into tough situations, and his leadership on the field is vital for Cleveland's success. The secondary, with young talent developing rapidly, has been stingy against the pass, forcing turnovers and setting up the offense with good field position. This kind of balanced effort is what separates a playoff-caliber team from just a good regular-season squad. But let's also talk about the expectations. Browns fans are hungry for that first Super Bowl appearance in decades. The team has come close in recent years, but consistency has been elusive. Now, with the roster coming together and Watson playing at a higher level, the hope is that this is the year Cleveland finally breaks through. The AFC North is a gauntlet, no doubt, but Cleveland is showing signs of being the team that can rise above, especially if key players stay healthy and the coaching staff keeps pushing the right buttons. In terms of statistics, Cleveland's offense has been steadily improving. Deshaun Watson's passer rating has climbed, and he's been completing more deep passes, which is critical for stretching defenses and opening up running lanes. The team's rushing attack remains solid, with the offensive line creating gaps for their running backs, and Watson himself showing mobility when needed. Defensively, Garrett's sack numbers remain impressive, and the team's turnover differential has been positive, which is always a good indicator of a winning team. And of course, the fans' passion and energy are what keep this team going. Cleveland is known for its loyal, loud, and vibrant fan base that fills FirstEnergy Stadium every game day, making it a fortress for visiting teams. That home field advantage has been crucial in many tight games this season, and the players feed off that energy. The city's love for this team is palpable, and every victory sparks celebrations that last for days. As we look ahead, the Browns face some critical matchups that could determine their playoff fate. Beating division rivals, especially in key moments, will be crucial. Watson's leadership will be tested, but his recent performances suggest he's ready for the challenge. The coaching staff will need to keep the team focused, avoid costly mistakes, and capitalize on opportunities. The front office will also play a role by making smart moves in the coming weeks to strengthen the roster if needed. So, Browns fans, as the season progresses, keep your eyes on the prize. This team has the talent, the coaching, and the spirit to go all the way. The AFC North is fierce, but Cleveland has shown resilience and determination. The story is still being written, and if everything lines up just right, we could be talking about a deep playoff run, maybe even a Super Bowl appearance. The journey is far from over, but the signs are promising, and the passion of Cleveland fans is unwavering. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these developments? Are you feeling optimistic about the team's chances? Do you think Watson is the key to unlocking that Super Bowl window? Or perhaps you're still nervous about certain aspects of the roster or upcoming opponents. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Browns. Remember, every fan's voice counts, and your excitement fuels this community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and we're all in this together. So keep cheering, keep believing, and let's see just how far this team can go. Thanks for being part of this journey, Browns fans. We're in it to win it, and I'll see you next time with more deep dives, analysis, and all the latest from Cleveland.